So the BC provincial elections are coming up on May 17th, and we thought it'd be a good idea if we gave you, whether or not you're an eligible voter, a rundown of all the parties participating. So for those of you unfamiliar with the geography, we're talking about British Columbia, which is the westernmost province in Canada. It's just north of the US, and also kind of south of the US, and to the east if you're counting Hawaii. Anyway, when it comes right down to who's going to be in power come next week, there's really only two options. There's the Liberals, they're in power now and have kind of messed things up, and the NDP, they were in power before and kind of messed things up. So when it comes right down to it, the Liberals are big business and the NDP is big union. But they're boring, I'm not here to talk about them. I'm here to talk about all the parties that really don't stand a chance. Starting with the only party that even comes close to being a competitor and the only other party with a developed platform, the Green Party. So these people are trying to shed their tree-hugging roots by forming opinions on things other than the environment. For example, they want to impose a 10% junk food tax and remove all of said junk food from elementary and secondary schools. A big fan of junk food, I really can't get behind that. Furthermore, they want to try and legalize marijuana. Now, decent idea as that is, why make it only part of your platform? Why not make it your entire party policy? Well, the BC Marijuana Party has done just that. If you can't roll it up and smoke it, they don't want to hear about it. Not only do they want to legalize marijuana, they want to legalize the sex trade and change BC's provincial flower from the dogwood to cannabis. Being as cannabis doesn't really have a flower, we're pretty sure they just mean the leaf. Now these parties may sound kind of weird, but these are parties with actually a fair amount of support. There's a ton of other parties that are completely off the deep end, such as a group of parties that wants BC to separate from Canada. Firstly, there's the BC Refederation Party. They want us to have our own separate government from the rest of Canada. They don't say they want us to become our own country, just a separate government, though really that really has no chance of working. Now, the Bloc Party of BC do want us to separate from the rest of Canada, but they don't care enough about it to come up with their own party name. Instead, they stole it from the hugely successful Bloc Québécois. Although, at least these guys aren't trying to pass us off as a distinct society. We're just like everyone else, only better. But it doesn't end there. Take, for example, the Western Canada Concept Party of BC. They're a concept of a party. They would like to see BC, Alberta, and Saskatchewan separate to form their own independent nation of Western Canada, which follows roughly the borders on the risk board labeled Alberta. But the separatists don't end there. Take, for example, the BC Annexation Party. Apparently founded in 1869, these nutjobs want BC to cede from Canada and become the official 51st state of the US. I wonder if anyone's cleared this with the US yet. Also, part of their platform involves the removal of all French labeling from products and eliminates the requirements to take French in elementary schools, which I could kind of go for. So lastly in the group of people that want BC to leave Canada is the People of BC Millionaires Party. They want to sell BC at the cost of $1 million a person, ending up with a population of millionaires. If they can find someone willing to pay $3,160,570,000,000, it might work. The Work Less Party of BC hopes to work less, something we here at Loading Ready Run would happily lobby for if it didn't seem like so much work. They also want the Premier to answer to the people of the province. Literally, 1 day a week for 8 hours that day, they want him to answer a 1-800 line to hear their feedback and concerns. I guess on the weekend, he'll answer his 1-900 line to raise funds. The BC Libertarian Party wants the complete dissolution of the government, which kind of renders them useless. I wonder if their slogan is, "Vote for us and we'll leave." Next is the Communist Party of BC. Ooh, the Communists. Well, they're obviously going to overthrow the bourgeoisie and set up a series of gulags in the north where they will send their political prisoners and all who oppose them. Or maybe they just want to pull Canada out of NAFTA and sell our railway. Those commie bastards. Now this next party has interesting views on a lot of different stuff. They believe that what people do in the privacy of their own bedrooms is between them and God. They also oppose gay marriage and equal rights for homosexuals and what they call the gay agenda. Can you guess the name of this party? Yes, it's the Freedom Party, who also plan to wage an all-out war on the pine beetle. Now for one of my favorites, the party of citizens who have decided to think for themselves and become their own politicians. The POCWHDTTFTABTOP. So not only do they win for best acronym, but a quick look at their website will tell you that they're absolutely batshit loco. Not only do they believe that welfare is Canada's Gestapo, but they think that Paul Martin, our Prime Minister, has personally tortured and murdered Canadians. Also, marks off for using the term bugaboo on their website in a serious context. Finally, a subject I think we can all get behind, sex. The BC Sex Party wants increased sexual education and decreased sexual censorship. They want all parks and beaches of more than a hectare to have designated nudist areas, and they want to change our provincial holiday Victoria Day, a celebration of Queen Victoria, to Eros Day, a celebration of boobies. Being that there's no stat holiday in February, they also want to change Valentine's Day to a day off work, although perhaps the day after Valentine's Day would be a better time for a day off work. So, there you have it. If you live in BC, make sure to exercise your right to vote on May 17th and vote for whichever party you want. Though, between you and me, on a personal note, I wouldn't go for the one with the acronym. They seem a little unbalanced. Although, if you vote for the sex party,